Hello. I'm going to talk today about the steps that I used to get myself ready to compose the lectures that you're about to read. Notice that although we've been thinking of pre-writing as just the first step in a writing process, we can also see it as a process of its own, with its own set of necessary steps. And to give you an example, I want to show you the steps that I took as I was getting ready to write what you're about to read and, in fact, what you're about to hear. For me, the first step in this process is to decide what to write about. This step might seem less important for a student who gets a topic from the class's instructor. Most writing, though, requires this at its very beginning. Before you even begin to write something, you in fact must decide what you're writing about. For that reason, I start brainstorming. I ask myself questions about what I haven't covered or what I think the class needs to know more about. I look at previous lectures, I look at what the students are writing, and eventually I get an idea. Of course, I need to organize my idea so that my reader can more easily understand it. Thus, I continue my process by making an outline. This is a picture of the outline that I made for this module. Notice that because I've decided to use the process analysis form for this module, the points of evidence in the outline are the same as the steps of the process analysis. Notice also that I have broken down the first step into 3 steps of their own. For purposes of explanation, almost any action can be a process. And finally, notice the position of that last step of pre-writing, which for me, when needed, is research. I like to do this step after the outline, as I realized shortly after I made the outline you just saw, because I can organize my time more easily when I know what I'm trying to find out for any particular part of the writing that I'm planning. I can do research relating to the early part of an essay before I covered the essay's later parts. For example, if this module had required research, I could have done research on how people do pre-writing techniques for this part before I started doing research on how people compose or revise for later parts of the module. I hope that this lecture has given you some ideas about your own pre-writing process. Remember that yours doesn't have to be the same as mine. As a writer, you'll find what works best for you. You'll find what kind of pre-writing generates sentences and generates ideas more easily and effectively for you. This is the process that has worked best for me. As always, keep practicing. And as always, thank you for your time and attention.